Hey, Heidi here, and I have some of my friends. I'm really excited to talk all things paint parties and just open up the possibilities of you doing paint parties because they have totally changed my life. And we're going to hear some stories today from some of these wonderful ladies, how they've changed their lives too. So if you come on here, if you're watching this video, please help welcome my friends. Please say welcome. Glad you're here. Something in the comments so that they can know and feel the love here. So we have, oh my gosh, we have Pam, we have Stacy, we have Nicole, Annie, and Fiona. And we're just going to kind of start. Okay. So if that's okay with y'all, everybody good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we have any audio trouble, please let us know in the comments. We're going to be talking about paint party success and things that you can do to help your paint party business and just basically having some coffee chat. I'm actually having root beer chat right now. Are y'all drinking anything?
No,
Water.
I just did. I just had a Coca-Cola.
Oh, I used to love Coke so much. And now it gives me migraines, but this is the only soda that doesn't give me migraines. So what we're going to do is let's start with Fiona. So yes. Fiona, I was kind of going back and looking through some of your posts because that's what I love so much about Paint Party Headquarters is being able to kind of look through y'all's posts. And I noticed last year you posted something that not only like you had so many takeaways and so many great things, but you said something that struck me and I know is going to probably like help a lot of people here, that you were nervous of saying you were an artist, but you knew you could confidently teach it. Do you remember doing that post?
I do because I mean, that's 100% who I am. I have a background in doing public speaking.
Oh, okay.
And now believe me, back when I was in high school and college, I would get flare-ups to here. I mean, my whole body would just show that I could not teach or talk in front of people. But when you learn a subject you're confident in and know everything about it, that goes away eventually. And so for 18 years, I was a public speaker in the construction industry. And so I knew I could teach. What I didn't know is if I could paint, because I just picked painting back up. I did some art classes when I was in high school. I didn't do any in college, I don't think. And then during the pandemic, my sister and I would spend Friday nights watching either something that you had or somebody else had, and we enjoyed it. And eventually I saw one of your, probably a spring ball or something. I can't remember what you did. And it was the Bountiful Flowers. And you were talking about joining Paint Party Headquarters. And I asked my sister, and you have to understand, I have some mobility challenges. I cannot stand for more than 5 minutes at a time. I have a compressed disc, but I also have 2 knees that need replacement. Okay. So there were some challenges that I knew if I was going to begin a business, I would have to have support. Now, my sister lives with me, and we're about to move into another house and together. And I had to ask her, I said, would you support me? She said, yes. She said, yeah, we'll do this together. And so the two of us started up. I felt for me, because I am not an artist, I would sit, because I have a day job, I would sit at night and I'd watch your videos on how to paint different things. And so I was learning your techniques, learning the way you did it and stuff like that. Then I felt like I needed to duplicate those, make sure I could do it.
Yeah, that's good.
And then, so probably 4 months, I think I joined in like April, maybe end of March. And my first paint party was September. This September is my first year anniversary for a public paint party. I had one with my mom's friends for her 90th birthday. So a 90-year-old and everybody else was over 65. And I taught them how to do Bountiful Flowers. So that was my guinea pig party. And so anyway, once I will say that, so that guinea pig part, I joined in like March. I had my guinea pig party in May. And then I started contacting people. I started feeling like, okay, I've got enough things to show them. And I feel confident confident in my schedule that I can start making this work. Cause I only do this on weekends, maybe a Friday night, Sundays. Friday nights and Sundays seem to be the days that I do it. I typically don't do it during the week because my job is a Monday through Friday job. And so I didn't hear from anybody for 3 weeks. Nobody contacted me back. And I was like, oh.
Anybody in the comments?
I mean,
paint party and not have somebody contact you back.
I was mortified. I'm like,
right?
I couldn't even believe that, nobody was getting back to me. So I had to think about it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to just keep branching out and keep contacting other people. Well, finally, 3 weeks later, one of the original people from the very first week that I contacted, she got back in touch with me. She said, I'm sorry, I'm a little delayed on getting back with my emails. She's been consistent every month. I have a standing paint party every month. So September will be my 1-year anniversary with her. And I'm really grateful to her support. But the cool thing is that I have grown friends through that who keep coming back to my party. And, it's neat because they're like, we're like friends on Facebook now, when we live locally together. So, and they followed me to some of my other venues, and then they invite their friends to join them. So my little friend network from my paint parties has grown because of some initial people who came to those meetings. And it's so nice when you get an email from somebody saying, I really enjoy your parties. When's your next one?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, cool. So somebody likes coming to my parties.
Yes.
And I'm strictly on the road. I'm not brick and mortar, nothing like that. So, this was just all me going on weekends doing my thing. But again, my mobility challenges, I'll tell you one other thing. One thing I do is I do sit when in between, I'll stand up, I'll show them how to do it. And then I sit back down. And then I take a few minutes and then I'll walk around a little bit and then sit back down. So I just have to take a lot of sit down breaks, but this is a doable thing if you can do at least the mobility that I have. And I have very limited mobility. So just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I think, I mean, that's good to share that, and, especially if you're comfortable sharing that, because I think a lot of times people think that, well, I can't do this because of this situation or whatever. There's so many like limitations we put on ourselves. But when we start problem solving and saying, okay, maybe I can't do it this way, but I could do it this way, which is what you have done. And then having that public speaking background has, really helped you as well, because I know a lot of times people are really, really nervous about that. So, and thank you so much for sharing all that, Fiona. Let's see. I'm going to kind of, go around the room. I know it's kind of like a round table thing, but I'm going to just be, kind of asking each of y'all different questions just to help share. And all of y'all that are in the comments, thank y'all for being here. Show some love if you want to hear some more paint party stories. And I'm going to bring it on over to, let's see, Stacy. Dun, 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 dun. You're in the hot seat.
Hi.
Hello. Okay, so I was looking at some of your past posts, and one of the things I always noticed was the gratitude factor and being so grateful. And I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice your shirt said that. That is so wild. So do you always practice gratitude a lot? Is that one of like
I do.
And then I also noticed like you were praying for, I always say like pray for opportunities, pray for things to happen. Yeah. And that's what I noticed in one of your posts and how some things were really happening. So maybe you can share a little bit about how paint parties have changed your life.
Okay. I have been a stay-at-home mom. My kids, were going to school, and it was just more affordable for me to stay home and take care of them than for me to get a job and pay daycare. And, now that they're older, and can take care of themselves, they're in high school. I decided, that I was going to start my art back up. And so I started painting, and I was just doing painting for myself and commissioned paintings and things like that. And then I saw I think it was maybe the fall ball, and I just loved it so much. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's so great. I mean, she's like, you are amazing. Aww. Your own faith and your own gratitude and everything just always shines through. And I saw that and I was like, wow, these are my people. You know, I finally felt like, wow, I found my people finally.
Yeah.
And so then I joined PPHQ and just loved it right off the bat. I actually feel that my path has been guided by God, you know, like as far as I was at an art gallery and had my work at the art gallery and then was teaching classes there, but it was a 60-40 split.
Mm,
So
that's
I was,
that's a big cut.
it's a big cut for doing all the work and, you know, and all of that. So I thought, you know what, I can do this by myself. I don't need to be, you know, sharing this cut with the gallery. And I started like thinking about it really and putting it into the universe and praying about it. And then that's when I met you, Heidi. And it was like, oh my gosh, like answered prayers. So I started my business then, and I um, just went full force in and said, I'm going to do this. And I take care of my mom at home. She lives with me too. So um, this is like the most perfect kind of business because it's like 3 hours here, maybe 3 hours there. And I can get away for that amount of time. I can't get away from for like a 8 to 5 job, you know, where you have to leave early and get home a little bit later and be gone that whole day. Um, so this has been really wonderful for me, being able to um, have those, you know, just have the paint parties and um, you know, and I pray for the opportunities to come to my way um, and I do the footwork though. I make the phone calls and I do everything that you taught us when I joined. And I made all those phone calls, and then even the ones that didn't call me back, like a year later, they did call me back.
Yes.
So,
It's about,
yeah,
I mean, they always say fortunes in the follow-up. And I think people
right,
get that. They think, oh, well,
right,
I did it once and nobody, well, they don't want to do this or whatever. Really, I mean, people are busy. Like we're not the star of their life. Like they're
exactly.
busy, you know? And so it's about following up. And I love your gratitude shirt and the way you're always, you know, posting with so much gratitude. And for all of y'all, I know Lacey, she just posted, she said, thanks for sharing. I lack the confidence to do this. So this makes me feel like maybe I can too. So so I
Yeah,
love that y'all are sharing these stories because I think all of us struggle with obviously confidence in one way or another, whether, you know, people think that or not, everybody has those kinds of struggles. That's not something that, you know, just comes naturally, I think, you know. So yeah, that's awesome. So glad you're here. We'll come back and we'll ask you another question before we go. Let's go ahead and have Nicole share. So you're up next, Nicole. So thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule. And for all of y'all in the comments that you are doing this as like a side hustle, like you're working full time. I mean, I know Nicole, you're one of those people that are about to go to work here in just a few minutes. And so you're taking time out to do this. And if you're one of those people that you are working full time, let us know in the comments. I did paint parties for many years while I was working full time as a teacher. And I know many of you on here are doing paint parties while you're working full time. So I want to ask you, and Nicole, and one of the things that really stood out that I want to ask you about is I noticed not one, but two posts, and there may be more. This was just in my quick little search that not only were you helping Curly at her paint party, but then you were doing a paint party like a few months later, and you reached out to Gregan, who's also in paint party headquarters, to get her help. And I was like, oh my gosh, Nicole, like how cool that you're creating a whole like network of this like people that can help you. I just made my heart so happy. So can you share a little bit about that?
So It was Judy. Curly Judy is what she goes by. But
I know. I'm like, I see Curly, but I think it's different.
So her name is Judy. So she was hosting her first paint party. So I just happened to be. We actually live really close to each other. So I told her, hey, I'll stop by and help as much as I can, because she was pretty much doing it on her own, and she has little ones, so they were helping her. But again, I understand how it is to go to a party and do it completely alone for your first time. I did my second one completely alone, but my first time, my family was there. But to be located in an unfamiliar city, she is new to our city, so for her to, it just felt like something I should do,
But you could have totally been like, this is competition. I'm not going to be that. I love that you feel like there's enough for all of us.
There is. And that is one thing that I have to remind myself all the time, that you tell us, don't compare your step 10 to somebody's step 500. You can't. You're not where they are. Excuse me. You're not where they are. They're not where you are. Yeah. So there is enough. There is truly enough out there for everybody. So, and I actually have probably like 5 or 6 people in this area, 4 of them, which are PPHQ members. Actually, there's probably more than that. But here local that, I see their posts and I'm like, oh, I've seen her on PPHQ, or I've seen her comment on PPHQ or whatever. So there's several people in my area that if they reached out to me, and said, hey, I need help with this, I'd be there. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that so much. And it's like my friend Tamara the other day, we were talking and she's talked about how you can't outgive God, and how, I was just, as I was reading that, and then I saw you were in a situation and then you were like phoning somebody for help. And it was like, it just made me go like, oh my gosh, what goes around comes around. Like you were helping somebody else and now somebody else is there to help you.
Absolutely. That was crazy. That was a crazy situation.
So what did you learn from that situation? Because I'm sure everybody watching is dying to know a crazy situation. What happened and how did you overcome it?
Okay. So I was hosting a party that's like an hour and a half away from me, that I do like every other month or so. And I had left my house. I was in a rush and got there. There were people still, it's at a winery. There were people still there with their customer because they were open. And I was like, okay, that's not a problem. I'll set up around them. They knew what time they were closing for the private event or whatever. So I just do my thing. Well, there's this one group of 4 girls that are there. And as I get done setting up the first table, she comes over. She's like, oh, we're going to paint with you. And I'm like, oh, great. What's your name? I'm Nicole. I didn't want to interfere with their business. So then they were tasting wines, doing their thing. So I didn't want to interfere with that. And I was like, oh, great. Well, that's fantastic. I'm setting up. So if you want to sit there, that's fine. If you want to come over here, that's fine. Whatever. So I finished setting up what I could because there were still people there. And I'm like, okay, I have, counting, make sure I have all my numbers, make sure I have enough seats, enough canvases and all that stuff.
I've had those moments like, yes. Oh no, I'm going to have to like magically produce a canvas out of some thin air.
Right. And exactly. So, okay. So long story short, people started arriving. She comes over to me. She was like, okay, yeah, we're signed up, we're registered, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like putting canvases out and more people keep coming. I'm like, wait a minute. Something's not right here. Something is so not right. I over prepared, not by too many, because there's only so much space that they have. Yeah. So I usually prepare about 5 extra, depending on the location, because I know what I can fit.
Yeah.
Comfortably. So I'm like, man, panic sets over me. And I'm like, I can't find my list. I can't find my registration list. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot the list. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm like, Constant Contact on the app on your phone doesn't let you see your events, or at least it doesn't allow me to. It doesn't let you see your events. It only lets you see the emails. So I couldn't go there to find the list. And I'm like, okay, I don't have enough campuses. I don't know what to do. My daughter's at work. My husband's at work. I knew Judy, she was doing something with her family. And I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Who can I call that I can actually ask them to log into my Constant Contact and tell me who's on this list? Who could I'm like, okay, Gregan, I called her and I was like, hey, are you in the middle? Are you by your computer? She was like, no, I'm on my way home, but I'll be there in a minute. I was like, okay, here's the situation. She was like, okay, I got you. Well, then it wouldn't let her give the full list. Like it had, so it had all the people who registered, but if they have a guest, then it wasn't showing their names, or it wasn't showing. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. As long as I have the person who registered, figure out the guest. Not a big deal. So she sent me what she could. And then I was like, okay, something's still not right, because the number of people on the list wasn't the amount of people that I knew I had coming. So I was like, I don't understand what's going on. So I'm like, okay, somebody here is not registered. So I had to go to Tip. PayPal emails you the people who signed up as well. So they email you, say, hey, you got money or whatever. So I was like, okay, let me find all those emails.
Oh my gosh.
Go to my email and I found, so what I did was like, okay, this one registered for this event. If you have multiple events, you got multiple emails coming in. Luckily, I saved those all. So I went through and I was like, all right, is, whoever here. So I went through and I'm like, okay, you four over here that were just wine tasting who said you registered did not.
Oh, those wine tasters were probably getting tips and they're like, let's go paint. This looks fun.
Yeah. So,
oh my gosh, I love this so much, because I can't tell you how many times I have printed off a beautiful registration list and have left it at home I was just painting, by the way, left it home along with all of my door prizes. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Like the door prizes I had ready, and then I would get there and I'd like makeshift a quick little thing, and then I would go to the restaurant and I'd be like, hey, do you mind donating like a $20 gift card? Just because I left it at home. And I was like, what the heck? Like, so I just want to say congrats on your resourcefulness, because we all have moments like that. And please let us know in the comments if you have stories like that where things just happen. And I think when I read it said like 19 canvases and 19 people. And like you legit had exactly what you needed.
I didn't. That's exactly truly what it was. So one of the ladies at the table, that were four of them, she was like, oh no, the one that came over and told me they had registered. She was like, no, well, they can paint and, and I just won't paint. I'll just drink. And I was like, okay.
Oh, good. Just drink. We need that.
So and then it just, I don't know, things hit you when you least expect it. And it can only be God sent. It can only be God sent. So I turned around and I was like, oh, you can be my helper. Would you like to be my helper? And this is a grown woman. Like, I'm 47 and she's like just as old as me, if not maybe older. Sorry, lady. But I'm like, would you want to be my helper? And she was like, well, sure. Yeah. What do you want me to do? And I was like, okay, I will demonstrate on the canvas and then you finish the steps.
Nice.
So that's how, and I was like, and then, just take the canvas, you finish it up. And
so you actually had to use your canvas that you were going to teach on as one of the painter's canvas. that's how tight it got.
Yes, because I had 19 people there. I prepared for 18. So I was like, okay. And then I was, well, just paint on it. If I can demonstrate, then I'll give it right back to you. And you can just finish the step while I walk around and, make sure everybody needs help.
When I'm like, sometimes when I don't even bring my own canvas because I have forgotten, literally, y'all, I could write a book of all the mistakes I have ever done. I've done them all, but like literally forgot mine. And so I'll say, hey, who wants me to demonstrate the next step? And so you always have people who are like, me. And so I just hold up their canvas and I'm like, here's what we're doing next. And I show it and then I put it down and then I walk around and the next step, who wants me to demonstrate this part? And you're like fighting over it. So really it can work to your advantage. So thank you for sharing that. That is awesome. We have a lot of comments so if y'all have a chance to read the comments, they're so fun. We're going to come back to you for sure. I just want y'all to know that like every single one of us on here has had some kind of crazy situation, and I could literally write a book. I should write a book one day about the paint party, just the paint party adventures that we go through, because there's so many fun things that happen. We're going to bring Pam up next. So what I love so much about Pam, she has been a part of Paint Party headquarters I feel like I've known you my whole life. And she is just such a sweetheart. She's a praying woman, and she knows how to encourage. And as I was pulling up some of your recent posts, like one thing I love about you is you're like, okay, here's what happened. And then you have a paragraph of like takeaways of how you can make yours better. And I love that, because I think a lot of times when we go into Paint Party headquarters, we might say, hey, here's my party I did of 20 people and they turned out great, right? Because we're busy. Well, not Pam. She's like, here's what I did. And then here's what you should do. Like, this will be better. This is what I could have done better next time. If you do it this way, it's good. Like, I was just so impressed with how much you overshare in this group. And so I just want to know, like, how have paint parties changed your life, Pam?
Well, I am probably one of the oldest people in the group. And back in 1997, I got autoimmune diseases and I had to retire from work. And for 20 years, I was kind of laid around, didn't do anything, kind of being depressed. But then I found you one night, and my story about the my cancer and all, but I overcome that, thanks to the Lord. But during that time, I saw Julie Samuco. I can't say that word. Samuco. That makes the Reese. Julie Samuco, that is in.
The Reese. The Reese.
She lives across town from me.
Nice.
And you were painting that red truck. That red truck.
I remember that
one night. And that I just found you that way. I didn't even know about paint parties. Of course, I had painted with Donna DeBerry for a long time and was a one-stroke teacher until I retired. I couldn't do it anymore. So hadn't painted in almost 20 years. But I saw you, and what encouraged me was you asked questions and I commented, and you just talked right back to me like we are talking now. You just were there. And so you started sending out emails about paint party business, and I didn't. I was praying. I didn't know, because I hadn't never done any of that. And so the last night, you said, "This is the last night, 12 o'clock. This is going to be it." I got an email from you at 11 o'clock, and I said, "Okay, Lord, I've been praying." And I said, "If that's what you want me to do, I'll do it." And so I signed up with you. So I know when I get a little carried away, like I'm going off now on a deep end. I'm writing the book in Paint Party PPHQ to tell you what I did wrong. But I just kind of overshare everything. But I just was so taken with the way you treated people. And then once I got in and saw the God-fearing women, at that time it was all women, and everybody supported each other. Like, I live in South Carolina too, and not far away. So, it's a great sisterhood. And with you as our leader and all, you got such a great team. Team.
Our team is the best ever.
And you can go in and ask questions and and everybody will respond. You may not get your right answer, but eventually you'll get it. If you keep going, you just don't quit. You keep going. You fail, you get up, you go again. So yeah.
Man, okay, so I gotta come back to this. So 20 years of just kind of, I mean, depression's like, that's big. That's like, I mean, it's so hard when we are waking up every day and we don't have something hopeful to look, to look forward to. Like that's, I mean, so for you to overcome that, and when, if any of y'all have ever met Pam in person, which I've had the pleasure of meeting her in person, you do not sense that. Like your whole aura is just like happiness and sunshine, and you just want to be around her because she's so kind. Like, you know how you just meet those people? There's just those few people you meet in this world that are just so kind. Like you feel it in their core. And I think to know that you've gone through 20 years of sadness and depression, and how were you able to, I know you started probably slowly like doing stuff and things like that, but was there a moment when you were just like, you know what? I'm going to start a different chapter, like how did that work? Because I know it's a very sensitive and touchy subject. So,
well, I'll tell you real quick. I had got up one morning about 12:30, I felt 1 o'clock on a Saturday morning going into Sunday. My side was hurting really bad, my right side. And I asked, my husband says, you want to go to the hospital? I said, no. Last time I went to the hospital, when we went to all of our life, and wait 5 hours. So I get the bright idea, I'm going to call the hospital and see if they're busy. You don't call a hospital, you just go. But I called one that, across town, a very big hospital. And they said, no, we're not busy in the emergency room. So we went, and I got there. One person was in the emergency room. They were taking her back, and kind of find out my appendix had ruptured, and I had turned septic. And if I had not, it had to wait even an hour, I might not would have made it, because I was in critical care for a week or so. But anyway, they found out that I had colon cancer at that time. I had colon cancer. So I went back for the colon cancer surgery. And when I did that, they said, and went back to see the doctor after I'd had the surgery, he said, they took out a bunch of lymph nodes and a lot of my intestines. And he said, the thing is, he said, you really didn't have cancer. He said, your cancer started growing on the outside of your appendix and went into your colon, and went into your appendix and ruptured your appendix instead of going into your body. So I had no cancer in my body whatsoever. So after some things happening with that, I finally got home and was on my road to getting better. And, I had gained almost 400 pounds during those 20 years. Mm-hmm. And I had lost some weight. So I just started praying. I was on 48 pills a day. And I asked God, I said, most of them was antidepressants. And I said, I don't want to live like this anymore, God. And, please help me. And one by one, I started coming off those antidepressants. A couple of them I was allergic to. That's why I've been falling. So I just prayed and asked God to help me not to lose weight. And then I started realizing every time I walked through the kitchen, I would eat. Every time I cook, I was eating while I was cooking. Every time I finished cooking, I was going to eat again. And while I was cleaning up, I was going to eat again. Then I was going to have cake and coffee later, just to calm me down a little bit, stress out. So I just started praying and saying, God, please help me. And I realized when I started eating it, I'd go to the garbage can and spit it out. And I still do today. I've lost over 260 pounds, come off all that medication. And so it was like I was asleep for 20 years. When I woke, and it was like I told my husband, it's like I've literally been asleep. And I woke up to myself, my normal self, before I got sick 20 years ago. And so that was a turning point for me. And then I didn't, like I said, I didn't know about paint parties till I saw you. And then I just decided I was praying, and God's led me, to you and to stick with you. And I just give him all the glory, because that was where I am.
You're making me cry. Oh my gosh. How many of us have had times in our life, maybe it wasn't 20 years, but it's been a few years, to where we feel like we were asleep, where we missed out on whole parts of our life. And I'm just so grateful. I mean, Pam, you're a little bitty woman. Like, I remember when you first told me you had weighed that much, I was like, there is no way, because, you're not, you're a little thing. And so I think just, oh my gosh, just such a testimony of like how how God can change your whole outlook, not only like your physical body, but your mental, and being on so many pills and just everything changing. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy for you. Like
I am.
that's so crazy. So thankful. Thank you for sharing that. And we're gonna go to Annie. So we'll go back to everybody else. I want y'all to share your business names before we go. Because I want you to share in case people are in your area and they want to do paint parties with you for sure. And then of course, everybody watching, if you have been nervous about paint parties, you feel like, well, I can't do it because I'm scared of this, or I can't do it because of a health issue. I can't do it because of this limitation. Like you have heard already, so many limitations that people have not only had or have, but that they're overcoming right now. And everybody's giving you lots of love, Pam, in the comments. So you'll have to make sure to go back and read those. Okay, so Annie, oh my goodness. I feel like, oh my gosh, you have a special place in my heart. So every single month you like write the most interesting, like thought-provoking questions for our paint party headquarters questionnaires. Every single time I'm like, oh my gosh, it's an Annie question. Like I can't wait. Because in this business, I am again always happy. It's funny because somebody will be like, how can you answer the same questions over and over? And I'm like, well, it's fine. This is what I do. This is my job. Just like if I was an art teacher, I'm going to teach those little kindergartners, just like I'm going to teach those fifth graders, every year this certain lesson. And so when people ask me like what paintbrushes to use, I happily answer every single time. But Annie, she mixes it up. Like you ask some really great questions, and I'm always appreciative of those because it almost feels like it's growing me as a person, because I have to think about like, wait, what do I believe in that? What do I think about that? So first off, thank you for that. And then secondly, you have had a huge year, like very big year. For those of you that don't know Annie, there is a lot that's happened in her life over the past year. So I'm just going to let you take the floor and share how paint parties have changed your year and with you, your husband, and your sweet daughter.
Woo. I love asking you questions. I'm just going to tell you a quick story. Back in the day, I used to do a tiny bit of modeling, and I was on a cable network station, and I was the interviewer. So I would interview people and like local celebrities and like that. And so I would have to come up with these like really cool questions for them. And I just like love getting into people's heads because you want to know how like this person ticks. You want to know, oh my gosh, they're so successful. So let's really find out what's going on with them. So maybe that's carried on to my.
It must have. You're gonna have to send me like a list. We're gonna have to start making a list of Annie's questions because they're so good.
That's so fun. Yeah, so I feel like I went from, and I know we've said this before about me, from being a wallflower, a fly on the wall, to becoming like a successful business owner in this whole industry in the last it's been over 2 years since I've been a member, but really since I worked at business, it's been like a year. Mm-hmm. So I started out with zero confidence, zero customers, zero experience. I'd never been to a paint party. I was going through a change of life situation with my family. My husband was becoming disabled. I was getting the role reversal of having to go to work. And so all of this was going on like all at once. And then I found you because I was looking for healing, and I wanted to get my easel out of the storage and start painting again. So I was like, I think it was a prayer. You were doing like a stencil, and it was a prayer, like a prayer quote on there, and you were doing a background. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So it was like midnight. I was up on the computer. I was just, looking through stuff. I'm like, oh, I like her. I'll save that. I think it was on YouTube or something. Mm-hmm. And then I was thinking of ways in my head, how I was going to make a living, how I was going to have extra money, work part-time, and then do something that I loved. And I love crafts and art and all that stuff. And then I started hearing you talk about the business. And then I was like, oh, this is neat, but I can never do that. Oh my God, I can't get up in front of people and teach them how to paint. So I'm like, oh my, never. And so I just kept plugging in. And then slowly but surely I started entering your contests and then like your fall ball and things like that. And I just kept saying, I'm going to show up. That's all I'm going to do. I'm going to get a notebook. I'm going to write everything down that everybody says, and I'm going to show up until I can get enough gumption or confidence to like go ahead and do this, you know. And so slowly but surely kept pushing me, and then having me talk a little bit more like when meetings were going on and stuff. So I started to talk, and then I started to paint, and I started to really focus on learning how to teach painting. And I think I was asleep for a while, like Pam, because I was going through so many life-changing events. I lost both my parents within a month, you know, almost 2 months of each other. Moved to a new neighborhood, a new house, and then it was just all crazy. And I was asleep. Like I was just like, just living the life, sitting in my cubicle, going, you know, with the flow. And I had no purpose and no passion. And I found my passion in this group. I found my passion through teaching paint parties, through helping people, you know, to break out of their shell during the parties, because at first I thought it was all about me, and I was so shy. I was so afraid to get in front of people, and I was just making it about me, and it really wasn't. It was about them and about how, you know, they were gonna respond to their painting and stuff like that. So you kept telling me, it's not about you when you get up there. Don't be nervous. Say a prayer, take a deep breath, know that it's their party. You know, you're just there to teach. You're just there to show them the steps, and then, you know, leave it in God's hand or leave it up to them. And so I started building relationships. I had my first party of my daughter. She sat right over here in my studio, and she was my paint person. And then I built up to 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. You know, I just started building the business, building relationships. I started booking venues, which was huge. But I had no idea how to do this, but I plugged in, and I found all the information I needed inside PPHQ for the minuscule amount of money that it costs to pay to a monthly fee for being a member. At the time, it was a lot for me, because we were financially going through some things. I was about to lose my house. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I can't spend this amount of money for this. I don't even know how to teach a paint party. But I sold that piece of work to one of my relatives. I sold my artwork, and then I made that money. So I was like, I was trying to figure it out. And then I was asking the questions. I do regret not starting earlier, but it was God's timing. And I knew that I wasn't ready for what I was about to experience. This. Like, I wouldn't have been able to handle it. Like, holy cow. Like, I had to learn, you know, on this pace. And I just want to tell everybody, it's okay, because it's all everybody's different. Like, yeah, don't compare, because I did that in the beginning too, because I was like, oh my gosh, this is I can't do that. I can't have that big of a party. I can't book this venue once a month. You know, there was always you doubt. But I have to say, I have prepaid parties all the way to December now. Woo! I have a party in September that is almost completely sold out. I have people asking me to create them paintings. I have bachelorette parties, birthday parties. I have things lined up. It's like, what the one thing I say is, when you do that script, when you put that script out there, just know that it's gonna work. So you have to be prepared. Like, know that I still use the same script, and then I tweaked it a little bit for my customers that are standing now, because, you know, I'm like, okay, so if you want me on this date, you have to book me now, because who knows if that weekend's going to be open, you know? And so I just feel like I've come, I don't know, it's been huge this past year.
I just think, like, what has happened with you in the past year and just your confidence alone. Oh my gosh. I have seen your confidence change so much, because Annie shows up, you know, she's always at the meeting. She's always at, you know, we have a schedule in Paint Party headquarters, and she is there. You know, for every prayer and gratitude meeting, for every brainstorm session meeting, like that girl is there. And I think I have seen, just because I've gotten to know you by being in these meetings, like your confidence from when you first started to now is just, yeah. I mean, even Stacy notices it. It's totally just extreme. And I think if you have done that just in this year's time, like what is going to happen in 5 years, 10 years? Like there is no telling. And I think that's what we all have to remember, every one of us right now, and all of you watching, you know, we think that where we're at right now is where we're going to be in 5 years. We know that history shows us that's not true. But right now, like we can look at what happened 5 years ago and see that our life has progressed or changed, right? If we're trying to move towards a goal. But then there's so many times when we seriously think like, this is where I'm at, I'm never going to get better. And it's not true. Like you can, in a year's time, build your confidence, you know, get better at things, grow, change, all of those wonderful things that what we're supposed to do as humans, we're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to get better. We're supposed to be kinder. We're supposed to learn how to do this life. I mean, I always picture life as like a Super Mario Brothers game. I don't know why, but it's like, if you get to the next level, you're at the next level. And then, you know, you've solved those problems. Like you're done with that. Thank goodness. I don't have to worry about that. And then you're at another level. Like I always kind of picture life as kind of a weird game. And I feel like you're definitely conquering Super Mario Brothers really well right now. So I'm proud of you. Oh my gosh, that's awesome, Annie. I want to ask you one more thing. Is it possible to share? I don't know if it is, but something big that you just bought that was kind of cool. Is that okay to say?
Yeah. Well, two things. One thing was my pool last year. So I have an above ground, but I was able to get my family a pool with the money, and my husband has a MS, and it has changed his like life. It's good for him to swim in there and stuff. And then my daughter, you know, I think it's her pool and her girlfriend's pool because now I'm like the pool mom. So all of her friends are over, and we just get, we get to enjoy that. You know, I live in the Midwest. We only get so much time. So after this, I'm in the pool for like an hour, you know? So it's like, yeah, I bought that, which was huge. And then my daughter, I was just telling about this the other day. I just bought my daughter 2 like name brand awesome pair of shoes for school for her first day. Like she gets to wear these awesome shoes that were on the expensive side. And, you know, she knew that it was coming out of the money that, you know, she works with me at parties from, you know, and she thanked us. She's like, thank you, Mom and Dad. Like after when we were leaving the store, and my husband goes, don't thank me. He goes, thank your mother. He said, she's the one that, you know, got you those shoes. And I was like, oh my God, you know, and I'm like, no, it's both of our money. You know what I mean? But it was just, I don't know. It was good because a lot of kids nowadays, they want to wear the cool things. And sometimes we just can't buy it as a family. Yeah. And it was like, it just felt really good to be able to do that for her. And,
I love that so much. It's like she's seeing those sacrifices you're making, and it's just so powerful to see her witness that, and also to be a part of her helping you in the paint parties. I know Pixie's been helping me since she was 5, and she was creating stuff for Paint Party Business Live. And this morning she's like, hey, can I go ahead and get paid for that stuff? You know, like she knows that, you know, it's a job and she works a certain amount, she gets paid, and we're teaching them these lessons. So I love that. Okay. So let's go ahead. I'm going to have, let's see, Nicole. I'm going to have Nicole share before we go. If you'll share where people can, I just want to go around, share where people can find you, and then also your final like tip of advice for people who are wanting to start a paint party business.
So Nicole Peterson, my business name is DIYably, it's DIYABLY, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I'm located in Greenville, South Carolina. So my final tip for starting a paint party business, if you have a dream, truly go for it. Truly go for it. I had this dream in my head that I wanted to open a franchise, a craft franchise. And I quickly realized, girl, you don't have enough net worth. And it's honestly, you know, I didn't. And so I watched Heidi. She came up on my Facebook and kept coming up on my Facebook and kept coming up on my Facebook. And I'm like, okay. And then I seen you paint a sunflower. a sunflower on I think it was a porch leaner.
And I'm not really that good at them either.
No, girl, crazy, you crazy. So no, seriously, I seen that is the painting that had me hooked. Right there was that sunflower porch leaner, because I'm truly, in all honesty, I've only painted, before I started this, I've been in business for a year and a half. Before meeting you, I painted one time in my life.
Wow.
One time. Never painted like an actual painting. Didn't know how to do that, but I could craft my butt off. And I could make door signs and I could make all that stuff. That's where I was headed. And I knew it, I could see it. And then it was like, after I realized, you know what, no, you don't have that to do. The whole franchise thing is not in the question. You're like, you don't even have to spend your money essentially to do this. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I can use the money that they prepaid to buy supplies to actually teach somebody how to just wait, what? And that's the thing. Like, if you have a dream, make it come true. Make it try. Only you can do that. Only you can.
Right.
So go for it. Truly go for it. And I know that's like something that everybody else says. Go for it. Go for it. Go for it. That's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
If you don't move, you're going to sit still. God will make the moves for you. You just have to make that first step.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if it's joining PPHQ, to find that might be your first step. It was mine. So make that first step.
Oh my gosh. Going from never had painted before to doing one painting and now running a successful paint party business. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. So crazy what can happen when we just take action, when we start moving in the right direction. And we can make mistakes when we take action. We don't have to have it all figured out yet.
I make a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. And it's all good. It's all good. You're your own boss. So who's to tell you that's a mistake? You know it is. But those other people don't know that you're making a mistake. You know, especially if you mess up on a painting, just like Heidi did the other day. She do, okay, it's fixable. It's fixable. So
yeah. Or just put a big X through it and start again, like I do.
Grab those baby wipes.
Grab the baby wipes. I love that, Nicole. Thank you so much. I know you got to go because you have a job and you have to go to too. So if y'all don't mind, everybody in the comments, if you'll thank Nicole for being here, I really appreciate you.
And can I say one last thing?
Yes.
If you are where I worked full time. I don't work full time anymore, but I worked full time for pretty much the whole year I was starting my business, and my job was downsized. So it was pretty much eliminated. Mm-hmm. So I took this as an opportunity to focus on my business. And it's okay if you have to work. Heidi says that all the time. It's okay if you have to work.
Respectable.
You know, and the cool thing is like right now I work for Michael's part-time. And I love it.
I love Michael's so much.
I love it.
Just for fun.
Right. I mean, I work in their custom framing department, which I'm learning so much, and it all ties in. And there was a person, I think it was yesterday, that said that they were afraid to call themselves an artist. That is me. Again, one painting before ever one. So if you have to work, it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. Start one step at a time. Just take one step at a time.
I love
Do
it.
one thing. That's it.
Oh, Nicole, thank you for adding that. That was very, very helpful. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I always talk about Oh my gosh, like working part-time either at HEB or Michael's. I used to work at HEB. It's a grocery store, and I loved working there. I love bagging groceries. I know it's weird, but like if the person starts to bag for me, I get so angry because I just want to bag my own groceries. I love it so much. We used to call it my beep beep money because it'd be like beep 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 beep. Like when I just something about that job was just so rewarding. And so I like fight the baggers so I can get to bagging first. And then I go to Michael's very often. And so many times I'm driving home and I'm like, I could really just work maybe 10 hours a week there, like with all my free time. Like, it's just so fun.
You have no free time. You can't possibly have free time. But, you know, I mean, it's also true. I mean, it's also a good way to get yourself out there in the community.
Yes.
You know, I've met so many people just in the 4 or 5 months I've been working there. I mean, you meet so many neat people. You truly do. So many neat people. I've gotten commission pieces from Michael's, from people that work or come in looking for something, and it's not something that I can do that. Yeah. I can paint that door hanger for you, you know. So you just have to, like I said, make that first step. God will take you. He will. He truly will.
I love it. Thank you, Nicole, so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
That's
amazing.
You're welcome. And have fun. We all wish we were going with you. And right now.
It's a dangerous job. You need to spend a lot of money there. I have to be careful.
I would never have a check ever.
I have to be very careful.
Yeah. Well, have a good night at work.
Thank you. Thank you. You guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Nice to meet everybody.
Okay, so I want to just piggyback off her real quick, and then we're going to go to Fiona, and we're going to have her share kind of her final takeaway and where you can find her at her business. But I wanted to piggyback on the fact that so many people think that I remember when I was teaching full time and I was doing paint parties full time, and I was literally like working myself to the bone. And it was a Sunday afternoon, and I was laying on the couch in one of our rental house we had. And I was laying there again. This is a house I was renting. I didn't own rental houses. We had lost our house. So this was a house I was renting. And I was laying on the couch in so much pain. And I was like, Bobby, I have no idea how I'm going to get up and go to work and teach 850 students this week. Like, I just could not even fathom, because I had already done, paint parties that weekend, and I was just exhausted. And I talked to my friend not too long after that, and I was like, is this what I got to do? Like, I just don't, is it going to get easier? Like, it's got to get easier. And I remember her saying something to the effect of like, sometimes you just got to, like, if you're in that situation, sometimes you just got to be in that situation. It's temporary. It doesn't mean that I'm always going to be full-time this and always full-time this, but there's seasons in our life where I was not comfortable just quitting a full-time teaching job because I wanted to make sure my paint party salary was going to equal it because of our bankruptcy situation. And so I remember, like, I don't think she said it this way, but I heard it as, just suck it up, Heidi. Like, that's how I heard it, was just suck it up. You're going to get through this stage of life and you'll get to the next level. And that's how it came to my brain. And I remember just being like, okay, suck it up. I got to suck it up. And then there'll be a time when okay, now I'm ready to quit this job and do this full time. But I will never be the person that's like, just quit your job and it'll all be fine. Because running a business is always going to carry its own risk. And there'll never be a day in anybody's business where it's just risk-free, unless you're selling toilet paper. I think that's probably the only risk-free business out there. And even then, there's shipment issues. So let's go ahead and go to Fiona. Fiona, tell us where everybody can find you and give one final takeaway or tip for people that are wanting to start this paint party world.
Okay, so I'm Fiona Bowen. I'm in Atlanta, well, north of Atlanta, in the Buford Sugar Hill area. And So Facebook/Magnolia Paint Parties is the name of my company. And it's Magnolia Paint Parties because I'm originally from Mississippi, which is the Magnolia State, but I'm living in Georgia.
Nice.
So yes, and my sister is too. But I would say, you know, one of the things that I like about PPHQ is your marketing material. Your marketing material helps me look very professional. And even if I'm not using one of your designs, I can kind of manipulate some of the marketing material to work with another design I'm working with. And I have to say that I think, hi Mississippi, whoever Facebook user is that is. I'd have to say that just makes me look really professional. And it's because of the things that the step-by-steps that you teach me. Again, I'm not a painter. I 100% is just like the other lady. I had only done one painting before I went to a place to do it at. I threw it away. I was like, this is trash. And it was because that the place that I went to didn't give me step-by-step instructions. They kind of let us just do our thing. And I'm like, you're not even going to provide me a B for the Bowen, you know, for my last name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where am I supposed to get a font that looks like a B, you know, that might look nice on this? I was just devastated that mine looked so trashy. And so I just didn't feel like they gave me the tools. So I like all the tools that I can provide somebody else by giving them a traceable, you know, whatever, or it now that I have a Cricut that I bought from some of my extra money, I can, you know, print things out to help them make things a little more specific to them if necessary, if that's the kind of paint party we're doing. So those are some of the things that I've gotten from working with PPHQ and just getting more confidence in my ability. As the year has progressed, I have felt better about my painting skills, but I am very much one of these people who paints just like Heidi. I follow all the stuff she does or any other painter. I very rarely add my own embellishments because I don't have that creative brain. I wish I was more creative. And if I gave myself more time, I might be able to be more creative. But in my current status, working a full-time job and doing this part-time, I don't have that creative space available at the moment. So my paintings very much look like hers, and that's the way I teach them. And then if they want to get creative, I always encourage it. And let me tell you, kids, they never do it exactly like you're teaching it, and that's so much fun. And if you're a highly need everything to be exactly the right way, you'll have to embrace the love of the people who are creative, who come to your paint parties, because there are some people who are going to go off the rails. Encourage it and don't go, oh, they're not doing it the way I'm teaching it, because that's the fun part for them. And you got to just let go. You got to let them do their thing. Cause I've got kids that don't want me touching. Don't even put your paintbrush on my painting, because that's my painting, you know? So they don't want to hear it. They just want to do their own thing. So yeah, you just have to kind of give it, if you're a very focused person and have to do things a certain way, you got to give that up sometimes for the creative people.
Yes, I love that tip. I actually, so Pixie, her old art teacher at one of the schools she was at, used to just come over and change stuff. And she's a very creative person. And so it would just destroy her. She's like, I've been working on this for hours. And she just comes over and does something. And then one time, okay, so usually when I'm teaching adult paint parties, usually they don't care if I go over there and help. Well, one time I accidentally touched somebody's painting without asking permission first. You would have thought I had like hurt her like family or something. Like she just like backed off, like now it's not my painting. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I was like, baby wipe emergency. Like, let's take that off. It's your painting again. I mean, but she seriously, like, so now I'm always like, are you okay if I do this? And or I'll take the paintbrush and I'll show it on the tablecloth. Here's what you could do. And then if they still look confused, I go, do you want me to do it? And then if they say yes, I move forward. But now I'm like, nope, I'm never making that mistake again. So that is a great tip, Fiona. I love that. Great tip. Awesome. Yeah, Sean says, thank you so much for sharing that. It's so much fun having y'all on here. Okay, so let's have Stacy share her final takeaway, her final tip, and then also where they can find you if they want to know more about you.
Okay, I'm Stacy White, and I'm in Corpus Christi, Texas. And I have you can find me at TX Paint by Heart, and I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and Twitter. And I think that's it. I am on Snapchat too, but I don't go that far. I'm like, I draw the line. I can only social media so much.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not on Snapchat.
yeah. So that's where you can find me. TX Paint by Heart. And for my takeaway, first I just want to say everybody just said such great things, and I just couldn't agree more, and just felt the same way. And I would say to be easy on yourself, like to just give yourself some grace. And as far as this is a learning process. You grow as your business grows. And I would say just I don't know, I would say that as far as just be easy on yourself, give yourself grace, because like Heidi was saying, we're not where we were 5 years ago, and we're not going to be here 5 years from now. So everything changes. And the other thing I was going to say was, it's hard. I was listening to everybody so much and I lost train of thought what I was going to say. As far as a good tip would be, I think, I don't know, you can, making sure you're doing the footwork, doing the planning part. And then, like how you said, the follow through, because, I've just had so much, just like I think you said about the script, it's so accurate. And if you follow that, the phone calls will come in.
Mhm.
But that's what I was thought, I'll be successful when the phone starts ringing for me, and I'm not calling everybody else. And I feel like the phone has started to ring for me, and it's just it's a great feeling. But just getting yourself out there in the neighborhood and in your environment, your community. I was not afraid to do things for free. I know that it's all about the profit, but like I went ahead and I did like one free paint party at the library, and I would do that every 4 months or something like that. And then it turned into art camp that was paid.
Nice.
So, it's like sometimes you can know that putting yourself out into your community it'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's all I'll have to say. I don't know. I'm sorry.
No, I love that. So she talked about giving yourself grace, which I think is so important because, we did talk about this, like, where we were 5 years ago and where we're going to be 5 years from now. And, thank goodness we can't see the future because, we're not meant to know what all is going to happen. We're just meant to take the next best step. But then also, I've always said this and I will say it forever. Paint parties are not just about paint parties. I mean, I truly believe it's sharing God's love through art and how we get to almost how we get to treat people. And by you going out there and doing those free events and getting your feet wet and all of that. And then it came back to you. And then you ended up with a paid art camp. So I don't think there is anything wrong with that. I would rather for people to literally go out there and teach a party for free. I mean, I'm not saying go do it all the time because I do want you to have a profit every party. But if that's what you have to do to just get yourself moving because you are so scared to charge something, just do it once. And then you will literally go, okay, yes, I see why Heidi says always charge because it is work. There is work. But then you get your feet wet and then you see the possibilities. And so I love all of that. So thank you for sharing that, Stacy.
Oh, could I just say one more quick thing?
Yes, go for it.
I've also met a paint party sister in my own town, and it's wonderful. So I was able to help her with a party or a her students, and I think she commented just a little while ago that she just retired from teaching.
Oh,
Um,
Debbie.
yes.
Oh, we love
I love her so
Debbie.
much. And so we've become friends, and it's just this is a sisterhood, and there is just you'll find so much like I said before too, I finally found my people, but I feel the same way where I would help somebody and not think of it as competition, because we're all every one of us, the way I look at it is every one of us has something different to give. And each artist like Picasso and whoever else, Monet, somebody might want to just only buy Picassos and somebody else might only want to buy Monets, So, I'm not going to be everyone's first pick, but there's enough people in this town that are going to pick me. So, if you think about it that way, because I was so afraid, like, I'm not good enough to do this. All of those negative self-doubt things went through. But if you just concentrate on it more like that there are people that are gonna like your parties, and there's plenty in the town. Like there's like Heidi said before about the bread aisle. I love it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. If you ever think there's not enough, go to the bread aisle. There is a bread for every type of person.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And now you and Debbie, I mean, y'all should start meeting up for coffee or just building that friendship now that
Oh
you're
yeah.
How
Yeah,
cool.
we
Very cool. Oh, thank you for sharing, Stacy. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Heidi.
You're welcome. Okay, so let's go to we have two more people to share their final thoughts. Let's have Annie share her final thoughts. Actually, Annie, if you will share where they can find you if they want to. Oh, hold on. Did I do something wrong? Might have been me. Okay, hopefully that's okay. So share where they can find you, and then share kind of your final tip.
Okay, so my name is Annie, and I'm with Divine Design Paint Studio, and I live in Illinois, a little suburb 20 minutes outside of Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago, but my husband and I moved out to the burbs, so we're in a little small area of Illinois. I want to share with you guys so many things, but from our discussion today, I feel like we go to a 9-to-5 job. We work a 9-to-5 job. We show up on time. We listen to our boss. We are in a job that supports our family, our mortgage. We respect the people that are in our job. So why can't we treat this like a job? Because we are the owners. We are the creators. We are the CEO. We are everything in our business. And I feel like if you are in it to win it and you really want to succeed in this business, you got to do the work. And I feel like I should have heard that a long time ago. And sometimes we got to hear that. And I love how Heidi gives us sound advice, and she gives us the tough love too in this in PPHQ. There's everything we need to start and run a successful paint party business. And if you plug in, you do the trainings, you go through all the stages, you start at stage 1, because we all have to start somewhere. I feel like you have everything you need in here to succeed. So treat it like it's your business, because it is. And you need to show up and you need to do the work, because idle hands, we're all God-fearing women, I feel like, in this group, and like what we're talking, the group that we're talking with right now. And I feel like if God gave us this gift, then we need to use it. And if we need to learn a little bit more to have that confidence to start teaching a party, then learn a little bit more, but show up, be on time, respect everybody in the group, because It's all a sisterhood, and know that this is a place. If you find your people, then we're all here for you. So any questions outside of anything, I'm always there to chime in to answer. And the team is just really great. I mean, it's just Heidi built like a great foundation. So
thank you so much for saying that. Yeah, we had a lot of people saying they're in it to win it. I love that because it's true. Like when I showed up as a teacher, I didn't show up late. If I showed up late so many times, I'd be fired. And then for some reason, because we're running our own business, we can let ourselves down. And I think when we start making these promises to ourselves that we're going to show up and we're going to create today, or we're going to show up and we're going to send so many messages, we start to realize like, oh, like when we start to have those small promises that we don't break to ourselves. And this is just a very short story. And then we'll go to Pam before we finish. Is I remember, so I started making these small promises to myself. Business discipline is what I call it. And having this business discipline because I knew I wanted this certain life, right? But I knew I had to work for it. I mean, you have to work for what you want. And so I always like to, will make a time, even whenever I schedule, like, okay, I have a meeting at this time or meeting at that time. And not too long ago on my birthday, we were supposed to be at a family reunion. Well, Pixie ended up getting sick and we didn't want to take her all the way to the family and then possibly spread whatever she had to all of these people. And I had to cancel it. And I felt so bad. And I was like, why did I feel so bad that I had to cancel because my daughter was sick? And I find a few weeks later, because it kept like nudging at me. And it was because I keep my promises. If it's on this calendar and I say I'm going to be there or I'm going to do something, I have trained myself so strictly with business discipline that if it's on that calendar, that's what I'm doing. And so if something gets messed up or changed or whatever, it's almost like even though she was sick, couldn't help it, no big deal, but I couldn't internalize why I was upset. Like, why am I frustrated? Like, why do I feel weird? Why do I feel ill? It's because I had made a promise I was going to be in a certain place and I couldn't, and I had to change plans, and it was okay. But when you start to get that business discipline, it really propels you because you're going to make those calls. You're going to make those messages happen. You're going to show up at your paint parties on time. And I remember somebody asking me one time, like, what do I do if I'm sick at my paint parties? I'm like, you figure it out. Like, you find somebody to cover, or you move it around, or like you don't just halfway do things. Like, you do them. Like you show up. And of course, like, things happen, and there's times when we physically cannot be at a paint party. COVID, the past few years, you have COVID, you don't go teach a paint party, right? Like, you just don't. You figure it out, you cancel it, you change it, whatever, but you still take action to make the next step happen. And so that's part of that little bit of tough love that, sometimes we got to figure stuff out. And when we start to really show ourselves that we can step up in that leadership and be that person, we don't have that, like, you'll go to dinner with a friend or a family member and they're like, well, I might do this, or I might try that. And you're just like, what? Like, by the time you're done telling your paragraph, I've already done it 3 times. Like, that's how you'll start to feel. Like, no, it's not going to might happen. We've already done it while you're talking about doing it. Like, get it done. And there's so many quotes that I've heard about that. And it's like, I think Dolly Parton has a great one. And she says something like, while people are thinking about doing something, she's already got it done. And I just love that because there's so many things in this life we can make happen. But let's stop all the just talking about making things happen and let's actually do it. So I want to end with Pam here. And Pam, I want you to share, I know you've opened up your heart for sure during this hour together. I want you to share not only where people can find you, but also what is your kind of final tip? You're going to close this out, your final tip for today on people who want to start this paint party thing.
Okay. I am Pam Paget, and I live in the big metropolis of Blythewood, South Carolina, where we now have 4 red lights. My Facebook business page is called Happy Time Paint Parties, Tees. Happy Time Paint Parties. And I just made this page a couple of months ago. I changed my name of my business. So it's a new page. So I'm trying to build it and get it built up. But check me out. Okay.
I like that. Check her out.
My, I guess, takeaway is for someone is if you want to join, if you're thinking about doing a business, paint party business, and you're looking at PPHQ, it's like to me, it's like a picture you're painting. When you're painting a picture and you mess up or you don't like something, you don't keep painting over it because it will get muddy. You let it dry, you paint over it, and it's whatever you want it to be. And the same thing is like PPHQ. And I can't think of anybody not going to do this, but if you don't get what you want out of PPHQ when you join, drop out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and if you join, you know, even for a couple of months and go through all the guides, and that was I wish I had somebody to kick me in the behind, you know, an accountability partner back then when I joined, because I would get frustrated because I didn't know what, you know, how to get butts in the seat or whatever. But do you think I'd go to Heidi's guides? I was asking everybody, trying to get everybody to tell me. So you've got to go to those guides. She's got everything you want to know in those guides. All the marketing material, all the tracers, all the information. And if you can't find what you're looking for, there's over 2,000 of us now. It's like 90 something when I joined. You know, you can ask questions. You're going to get somebody to answer you. And she's got a great team that it gets right back to you. And I still, I'm not saying I'm perfect about doing these things. I'm still trying to, I don't understand a couple of things in Kajabi. I've got to get on how to search for some things. But the point is, if you just try it, just go in and see if you like it. If you don't like it, you haven't lost but a month, 2 months, maybe your entrance or whatever you want to do. But I'm sure you're going to love it. You're just going to love it because you'd be amazed. This girl says she's offering you something. She's offering it to you, but she's going way above that moon she's offering. She's offering the stars and the hot dog.
The corn dog.
Corn dog, I forgot you. She's offering that corn dog, girls. That's the inside joke. You got to go into PPHQ to find out what that means.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a great sisterhood, and now we have some brothers in there. That's really great too. So I would just say that just go in, stick with it, don't give up. And it's like the man that made the 409 cleaner. He worked on his recipe for 408 times, and he didn't get what he wanted. 409th time, he got his recipe for his 409 cleaner, so he named it 409. You cannot give up. You got to just if you fall, get up. Big deal. If you fall, get up. All you can do is go up. You're already down. You can't go down. You can go back up. So I just encourage you to, if you're on the fence, you know, like I say, if you're on the fence about it, pray about it. And if you feel led to do it, join. And like I say, I can't imagine you not liking it and not saying once you get there. But if you don't, then you can always drop out. I don't think Heidi's going to hold you into it for your lifetime.
So
it's such a blessing to me.
The what?
It's such a blessing to me. I still have to reach out to my sisters, you know, for a lot of questions. I'm still asking, and especially, well, there's a bunch of them. I'm not going to name no name because I'll leave somebody out. But y'all know who you are. I'm bothering every day. So I just appreciate all of you so much.
Well, we're creating a tech hub too to help.
Yes, and that's going to be number one.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh, I was thinking of some of the things we could do to even make it better. But I have never heard that story. Let us know in the comments. I bet, have y'all ever heard the 409 story? I've never heard that. I had no idea that's why 409 was named 409. That is so cool because, again, it goes to show you that everybody thinks that things just happen like that. We're in this social media world where it feels like everything happens overnight, but it does not happen overnight. And yeah, a lot of people have never heard that story. And the other thing, you know, with Pam talking about, you know, being a part of Paint Party headquarters, and we treat y'all like a family, and our team is top notch. I mean, we literally have a team called the Guardians of Paint Party Headquarters, and their job is to scroll through and try to find where you need help and then lead you to a training to help you. Like, our job is to try to help as much as humanly possible. And I think the biggest thing about that is, like, Pam's right. Like, you come into Paint Party Headquarters, if you don't like it and you're like, what the heck did I step into? Like, you can leave freely. Like, it is not like, nobody's holding you there. It's not anything like that. And so if a lot of people come in and they're like, wow, I mean, I literally built Paint Party Headquarters for my own use. I'm not a graphic designer. I know Fiona was talking about earlier, the marketing materials alone. Like, I'm not a graphic designer. My flyers, when I first started doing this, looked like crap. I mean, they still to this day, if I make a flyer, it looks awful. But you know what we do? We pay graphic designers who are amazing to make them for you so that they're beautiful. So, like, I just want y'all, regardless if you join Paint Party Headquarters or not, if you are a creative person, if you have never painted a painting, but you're crafty, whatever it looks like, make sure you take the next step to whatever you're trying to do to build your dreams. It doesn't mean you have to be in Paint Party Headquarters to do that. Of course, we would love to have you and wrap our arms around you and help you, but we seriously want you to just take a step forward. I mean, the world needs you in this crazy, negative, mean world. Like, there's a lot of negativity out there. And this is one of those places that I protect with all my heart because I want to keep it a kind place. So, so thanks for sharing that, Pam. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
All right. So we have had a full-on hour and a half together. So if you have not, oh my gosh, it's gone by fast. I'm going to unmute everybody so we can all say bye. But if you have any questions for them, feel free to reach out to them. I'm sure they would love to help you, to talk to you, whatever that looks like. And then I don't know why it will not let me unmute Fiona. Oh, I think she has herself. Oh, there she is. Okay, so if y'all want to just quickly say bye, and everybody else, if you're in the fall ball, I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Central. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being here. So